they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Wednesday, June 5th, 2024, and this is episode 713 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled, It Blows Cold Air. I'll be chatting about our new portable AC unit, my timing being way off, pangolins, and more. First, let's check out over in the live comments. He was hanging out in the coffee crew. Grab a cup and hang out for an hour. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? Rewilder Life says she's got a tallow balm commercial, which is fitting. Yeah, that's pretty fitting for this crowd. That's they're dialing it in. Maybe they're picking up our chatter about their off base ads for the show. Pip, good morning. Early, looking like a good sunrise so far, maybe a hot one. I think we're looking at hot and rainy today. Haas, good morning. Can't sleep, so you're up. Why not? Why not? Rewilder Life, like I said, is in early. Mike's Homestead, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's it going? Mike's Homestead got a Grainger commercial. I like Grainger. I was always a fan of Grainger for sure. That's never a bad place to go shopping. A little spendy, I guess. If you're, I guess when I was shopping at Grainger, I was using the company dime, so that's a little easier to take the price. But they usually did have what we needed. We had several Grainger outlets, or storefronts and shipping centers where I lived in Minnesota. So. Yeah, Grainger, big fan. So they're starting to get mainstream with tallow balm, huh? Rewilder Life. That's interesting. I thought that wasn't that some sort of taboo no thing for a while, and then it kind of started spreading through the homesteader communities, and has it gone mainstream again? I mean, I know it used to be popular, but I thought. I didn't think that was that popular for a while. Anyway, what do we got to talk about today? We got our new AC in, so I was going to talk about that, what we got, why we got it, and how it's working. Like first thoughts. Reviler Life says I should have stayed with my small company, but the insurance was stupid. Yeah, it's definitely insurance is definitely a big deciding factor when to keep people employed. So that's always nice that you have to worry about your health to decide if you want to stay someplace that's bad for your health. Usually, stress and anxiety and all of that, and then you got to think about, oh well, what will I do for health insurance? But anyway, what's in the cup today? I guess I didn't tell you the rest of what we're talking about. My seasons are all messed up. My seasons are all messed up too. I've been noticing. I've been spending a lot of time out at Delinquent Scully working, whether on our stuff or on the Pip feels attacked. I'm off. I'm off. I'm off my timing. It's been 2 springs now that I haven't gone through the normal cycle that I was in for over 20 years in Minnesota, and then over 20 years before that in New York. And it feels weird. I'm getting there here, but we'll figure it out. And then I also want to mention pangolins. I have some other things. I got some things I was looking into about pangolins yesterday, and mimosa trees, and what else? Flying spiders. So yeah, I got a bunch on the list today. I don't think we'll get to it all, but we'll spread it out and go through with it tomorrow. But what's in the cup? I see Jim. Jim, good morning. Good morning, Jim. Food Forest Farms GSD blend in the cup for the first time ever. I'm guessing that's ever. it's good stuff. That is what I that is what I described to Brian. Excuse me. When I decided I wanted to make my own blend of coffee, and when you join C4, when you join Brian's C4 Club at foodforestfarms.com. C4 Club is a coffee club and so much more, but the coffee club is the bulk of the experience. You commit to buying amounts of coffee a month at a stupid low price, and it ships out on the 15th of every month. Part of the C4 is basically the ability to come up with white labeled coffee. You can have Brian do the legwork and figure out what you want. If you know what kind of blend you like or what roast you like, you can set him to it. But you can then have him produce that at a significantly lower cost and white label coffee. GSD Blend was one of the first ones we did. I told Brian that I wanted a coffee that was a little high on caffeine, but not super overly caffeinated, like added extra, none of that, but the highest natural caffeine count that you could have, and taste good and be something that a guy that's a blue collar worker, which I was at that point, could have a mug or take a mug on the way to work and have an awesome day and get shit done. Or maybe that guy on the homestead that needs a little boost in the morning because he's burning both ends of the candle, working and then coming home and building a farm. I built a coffee to satisfy what I wanted at that time, and GSD Blend was born. So, Jim, I hope you enjoy it. It is definitely a good drinker, and you should have a good day. Good morning, K-Bonk. How are we doing? Thanks for stopping in. Rewilder Life said, I had my own company called Northern Lard and Tallow, local sourced soap and balms. Insurance for soap is big money. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. I thought you were saying you should have stayed with the small company you were working for because, but the insurance was stupid. Oh, good morning, Chris Dixon. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. But I still stand by my statement that there's a lot of people that sit at jobs that are probably wholly unhealthy for them because of blood pressure, stress, blah, 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 and everything because of insurance. It's almost like that wage control way back in the 40s and 50s, the wage control and rolling in other benefits like health insurance and stuff like that may have trapped some people in their jobs. Jim says he's looking forward to that kick. Tastes great. Yeah, Brian did a really, really good job with in making the GSD blend. I was really pleased, and it basically gave him those thoughts, and he sent me like four tester samples, and we nailed it on the first go around. So, Rewilder Life says my husband is stuck in a job, and she also has new version of the company store. I mean, really, if a company right now, I think with all the insurance going sideways after the Obamacare and things like that, and the prices and the premiums and all of the shit going crazy, I think if a company really wanted employee retention, they could really do a stroke of business by offering some just phenomenal healthcare plan, like absurdly not appropriate for the level of work, like golden parachute plan for a $25 an hour employee, that kind of shit. I think they could pick their own employees if they started bouncing that around LinkedIn, because with all the health problems people are having and the cost of healthcare, that benefit is what it is. And I bemoan it, and I say that it sucks that people are trapped in their jobs. But man, if you're looking at it from the company side and you want retention of employees, that's a pretty good one. Chris Dixon says you guys need universal health care. It works great. I've heard how great it works. I've heard a lot of stories about that, especially from some of the folks that I know that come to the United States to get their procedures done from Canada that have that universal health care and pay cash because I don't think it's legal for them to do it. Sounds fantastic to me. And they were some of them had pretty legit jobs that you would think they could get fast tracked or something. Yeah, no. Oh, all right. Well, I never really did mention I'm still sipping on this FTO blonde espresso. I have a probably one more press, which will be today. Today is a office day for me. I have a buttload of videos to produce. I have a buttload of videos to upload, and more than a day's worth of computer work to get caught up on. So, yeah, here's to FTO Blonde. Maybe I should go get some GSD, dig that out of the cupboard, and have a second one with Jim. Jim, be careful. Don't drink too much of that stuff. You'll be running around the retirement community in your underwear, or are you already doing that anyway? So first on the list, we got our portable air conditioner in. It showed up yesterday. It got delivered yesterday. Brought it home. It was it's all right, I guess. It's what I expected from the description on the YouTube or on the Amazon listing. It's probably, I don't know, 18 inches square footprint on the floor and maybe 2.5 feet tall. 2.5 feet tall. 10,000 BTU portable air conditioner. And yeah, it's okay. It's okay, I guess. We're gonna have to play around with it. We're gonna have to figure it out. The setup is definitely made for a normal house. It's not made for RV windows. We were able to, with my beautiful wife's help. I had a rough night last night. I was having some heartburn issues, some like crazy heartburn issues, and so it was hot in the camper. We decided to pull this out of the box to get it set up, to get the vent in, and I was having a rough one with it. Not good at all. Corey stepped in, helped me, helped get the vent secured in the window and sealed around it. We fired it up. It blows nice and cold, that's for sure. It blows nice and cold. K-Bong says, good morning, Food Forest Farms. I'm guessing Brian didn't switch over to Pickle Pete because I can't see his comments from Food Forest Farms. Weird. I don't know. YouTube still has us blocked. So it blows nice and cold. We're going to have to figure out airflow in the camper. So the biggest thing that's going to be an issue with this is we live in a hallway, basically. when you're in a travel trailer and you occupy the front and the back with the living quarter, like the bedroom office quarters, and then you put the air conditioner in the middle, it blows one direction. It doesn't blow into the back. It doesn't necessarily reach all the way into the front. So we're trying to figure out circulation probably at this point. I mean, we've only had it one night. It worked okay. Good morning, Pickle Pete. 2 thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Always good to have those extra YouTube accounts hanging around. And by the way, thanks everybody that's gone over and subscribed to Tiny Armored Ones on YouTube. I got that updated yesterday. The new name and handle over there, Tiny Armored Ones on YouTube. getting closer to that, getting closer to the 50 on that. But the AC ran last night. We didn't dig too far into the settings yet, but I think it ran full bore. It was above 85 in here last night when we turned it on. It was in the high 60s ish when we woke up this morning inside. So it cooled down a little bit. The rooms are definitely different temperatures. It's definitely cooling the main middle room, kitchen, slide area in the camper. And we have fans set up blowing both to the front and the back. I don't know. We'll have to see how it works, but the saving grace is the really most important reason we got it was for the dogs when we want to go out and work at Tim's, when we want to work on our cabin, when we want to work or we want to go out to get something to eat or leave in any fashion when the temperature is warm. We want to be able to make sure the dogs are okay and not dealing with heat. So if they can make their way into the main room, it should be fine. It should be fine. And I think it'll be all right. Brand of this thing is called Life Master. K-Bonk says you should change the YouTube tag for Sydney. I'm not sure what tag you're talking about, K-Bonk. I'm not quite sure. It might take some time. I just changed it yesterday morning. It looks like it's all changed to me. I'm not sure which tag you're talking, and if it happens to be Facebook for some reason, it won't be until a few days because it caches in YouTube. Interesting. I'm not really sure. I was just looking at. I just pulled it up over here, and it looks like the title page and the title and the scroll down on YouTube. Chris Dixon says, can you build a diverter to take half and blow it the other way? Shouldn't take much to cool the small space in an RV. Maybe. That might be an option. It might be an option. We'll have to think about it. We'll have to. I'll have to look at it. I'm not sure. We have this big air mover that's on the floor that that we've been using to from the lots page. K-Bonk saying, scroll down on YouTube from the lots page. Huh. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's Pickle Pete says, yeah, Y splitter and an inline fan. It's all grow gear. Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to need to put into it. I'm kind of wondering if I can yeah. It's only been a day. It hasn't even been 24 hours. So definitely blows cold air for sure. It blows a pretty solid stream of cold air. When I came out this morning after it didn't feel like it was blowing as cold, and I didn't turn it on and off again, but I just changed the settings, like went from low fan to high fan, and it felt like it kicked back on. So I don't know if it reached its set point in its one spot where it is. and then kind of went into an eco mode or something like that and really was just circulating. And I also don't know how accurate our thermometer on our wall is. So Pickle P says, how's the water outbound? It wasn't bad. It wasn't that humid here last night though. That it wasn't humid to start. We do have the water hose hooked up and going into a jug, so clear jug, so we can keep an eye on it. But yeah, the heat outbound is very significant on that exhaust going out the window. Definitely dumps some heat out of it. So, and I don't know, is that yeah, Pickle P says it cycles. It hit the low where it was. It's kind of what I figured. I'm wondering if so. The problem with putting it at the end of one, I was going to think about putting it at the end of a hallway. The one consideration I have to take into account is at some point we're going to be using this to take out to the property and use to stay the weekend if it's too warm for the dogs. So anything that I MacGyver up or rig up needs to be easily movable and moved. Pickle P says Legionnaire's disease in that water. I didn't plan on using it. K-Bong says save the water. I mean, Legionnaire's is always a great fun time from what I recall on House when they were dealing with that. So, huh. Hey, K-Bonk, would you be able to take a screenshot of what you were talking about on the YouTube channel and throw that over to the Telegram group if you get a chance? Jim says it's all TV programming. Legionnaire's disease is all TV programming. But anyway, that's the new AC. I think it's going to work well. We need to figure it out as far as just getting the air moved around here. I'm wondering if maybe some fans in some strategic locations. We just tried to make it work last night, and it worked okay. Nothing fantastic, but anyway, I really appreciate Corey helping me out last night. I was having a little bit of a breakdown. I was in a little bit of pain, and it was hot, and I was sweating, and I wasn't having much of it, and I was getting really frustrated, and I might have been a little bit of a dick. So I appreciate her. I appreciate her stepping in and finishing up and letting me just go sit down and get better. So feeling better this morning. So yeah, I'm excited about the thing. It was like it's a Chinese knockoff for sure. It was significantly cheaper than any of the other 10,000 BTU standalone units, portable ACs. It would probably buy $100 or more. So I'm hoping it works fine. I'm hoping it lasts a little bit of time, and then oh, gotcha. Got it, K-Bonk. Oh, gotcha. Thank you, K-Bonk. Appreciate it. Yep. In my show notes. Got it. I'm hoping it lasts. I'm hoping I can do some reviews on it. $250. $250. This thing is shipped right to the door. I think that's a reasonable price to pay to give it a shot and see what happens. So hopefully it lasts a little bit of time, and we get some comfort out of it. So next thing on the list is one thing I've been noticing, and this was a little bit last year. I expected it last year. But moving into this year, I thought I would be acclimating a little bit. But my sense of season, my sense of like what month it is, what needs to be going on right now. Pickle Pete said, "Did we scare Gen G away?" I don't know. I was wondering what happened to Gen G the other day too. Maybe reach out on her, tag her in the Telegram group and see if she comes around. Maybe she's been busy. She is out your way. Maybe she decided she would rather sleep in every day than get up and watch the show with us at, I think it would be 5 a.m. her time. But I've been out at Delinquent Scully. I've been talking a lot with Kerry Brown doing consulting, or doing his consulting with the property and other jobs around here. I've been talking with Jamie at Off Grid Ping with his growing, what he's got going on, his greenhouse and plants and comfrey and his animals. And I'm just kind of there in limbo and feel that I haven't really grasped the seasonality yet. I think it obviously started when we moved from Minnesota. When we hit the road, we spent the winter in Texas. That just throws everything for a loop in right off the bat. But I felt like when we got here last spring, and we've kind of come full circle. We've been here for a year plus, 13 and a half months. I thought that it would kind of sit in. It would kind of start to feel like I know the cycle. I'm off. I still keep reverting back to that Minnesota timeline and thinking about the fact that, last frost date in Minnesota was 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks ago ish, like the 20th of May. Last frost date here was like 3 months ago. So when my internal clock is saying, yeah, this is the time of year where you'd be putting your chickens out on pasture, you'd be taking them out of the brooder and getting them out there, because now we don't have now we don't have the frost. We can get them out there. They're not going to freeze. They're feathered out enough. Let's get them out. Thinking about, turkeys. Turkeys have been ordered long ago, but they're going to be coming here in a month, because if we don't get them at the beginning of July, Mike's Homestead says April 19th is average last frost date. So 1.5 months ish. 1.5 months. That's right. It was 3 months longer. 3 months longer time. I think it's longer. I think the first frost date in the fall was longer, but it was 90 days more here than where I was. So we had to get turkeys at the beginning of July, and turkeys were the downfall of my time in Minnesota. That was the catalyst that really kicked off our getting the hell out of there, was when our turkeys got snowbound in October. We had to get them at the beginning of July, and that meant we couldn't even get them to the end of November. But I'm sitting here looking at Jamie had a couple turkeys. He got a couple turkeys. I was looking at his turkeys. Jesus. I was looking at Jamie's turkey yesterday. I was sitting there waiting. I had some stuff showing up, and so I was hanging out with his animals. He was off doing some stuff, and so I was looking at his turkey, and I was just thinking back at our turkeys and the size of his turkey, and man, it just made me realize how out of sync I am right now. Mike Sosa says he saw video of his turkey watching him wash a dish. His turkey's pretty cool. Jamie did a smart thing, maybe, and always had dog food or dog treats or dog food in his pocket when he would walk around. And when he would just go, and when the turkey was around him, he'd give him a little treat. And so now the turkey is nice and friendly. You come over and he'll kind of look at you, he'll check you out. He'll wonder if you got a treat for him, but even if you don't, he'll let you pet his head, let you get real close and be friendly with him. Which, since he's free range and he walks around everywhere, that can be definitely a good thing when it comes time to try to catch him to take care of business, if that's the route he takes. But it can also get dangerous, because when that turkey gets to about 40 pounds and he decides he wants to check in your pocket to see if there's any treats in there, and he starts pecking at your leg, you might not be happy you trained him that you had the treats in your pocket. We will see. That might be that tipping point for that turkey on that property. Pip says my cycle's off. There's a joke there. Jim tried to jump in. I think he might be a little jittery from all that extra caffeine. He says, I think he's sinking with the snails. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Chris Dixon says, man, just to think the things I could get done with an extra 100 days. So that was one of the things that just blew my mind when we decided to start looking, before we even decided RV and all of that. When we were just looking to get out of Minnesota, and we started looking at frost dates and grow zones and different areas and temperatures and things like that, just getting to zone 7-ish, adding 90 days to the season, I just shook my head. And it really cemented the fact that with that extra time, wanting to do as much as you can for yourself and having an extra 3 months a year to do it before you're frozen out for the remainder of the year. And that's the beauty of even like here, is even in the winter, you're still, that's just frost date. That there was no reason, even with the week-long shit show of a snowstorm and all that here that we went through this past winter, I could have grown through that. I could have had animals with automatic waterers through that. That was like a blip on the radar of a bad October week in Minnesota before we had everything dialed in for the winter. That was the surprise snowstorm and cold snap. Sorry guys, I got a little hiccup. That was something that we dealt with on a regular basis, or in the spring, if you gave a little false start in that fall summer or fall spring, and then cold hit again. It's infuriating to think about. Chris Dixon says that's just vegetation kill off, nothing to do with shutting systems down completely. Right. I always talk about the automatic waterers that I worked on, and banging my head against the wall trying to figure out how to keep them liquid in the winter, in January and February in Minnesota, for the chickens, for the rabbits, for all the stuff. And I have kind of that troubleshooting, that maintenance, that design mode, the utilizing different systems together, and I could do it, but I couldn't beat the system. I couldn't beat the weather there. There was no way. I was good until like middle of December, end of December, if it was a mild winter. When you got into January, it was just too cold. It never came above freezing. You expend so much energy just keeping the water above freezing, let alone all the periphery systems that need to stay functional, like metal nipples on the watering systems and things like that. It's it's rough. So to sit here and look and say, oh well, we had we had right around freezing for a week. Well, that's cute. That's cute. I've experienced months in Minnesota where the temperature didn't get above 0 Fahrenheit for a high during the day. 30 days straight. Actually, it was 37 days straight. Where it didn't get above 0 Fahrenheit for the high. That's just no. Like, not in this lifestyle. Not in a lifestyle where you want to grow your own food, you want to raise your own animals, you want to be able to go outside and enjoy nature. There's nothing about nature at -20. There's nothing. Rewilder Life says she loves northern Michigan. Minnesota is far more brutal with temps. It's that lake. It's the lake that keeps you warm. Chris Dixon says, I'm trying to explain to Mama that the dollars we spend to heat shit for 7 months would almost pay for itself in a zone 7 setting. Just the money to make yourself comfortable. Yeah, that I'm done with that shit. I'm done. I don't ever want to see negative temperatures on the Fahrenheit scale. Ever. I don't ever want to experience that again. It's just stupid. Maybe an overnight, oh my God, it hit negative single digits. Woohoo. But no more working outside in it. No more trying to farm in it. No more trying to be sustainable in it. No more trying to be outside in it. If people want to call me a pussy for that, if people want to say, well, you got to toughen up. Yeah, fuck that. You know what it made me feel is old. It beat the living shit out of my body. I don't need it. Anybody that wants to, go ahead. That's perfectly all right. I don't think it's the logical choice. If you have a choice, and we all have a choice. And you want to do this, make it a little easier on yourself and not be in zone 3. Just a general observation for anybody that hasn't figured it out yet. So my seasons are all off. I'll get there. I think once we're back into the swing of actually growing things and working with nature more on a day-to-day basis, like we were on the homestead, it'll sync up. I'll be all right. But I've just been noticing, like, people I see on social media and things, like what people are doing with their farms and Telegram groups and this and that. And I'm like, I'm so out of sync. K-Bong says give it time is greater than is less than snail time. Almost time for the live feed for the snails. The snails are actually fast, guys. I just didn't Chris Dixon says you did toughen up. You toughened up your brain and left that shit behind. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I grew up, it was like zone 5. New York, Western New York. K-Bonk is Western New York zone 5, right? I really wasn't into that kind of shit in winter there. I know that we shot for opening the golf course on April 1st and normally sometime between April and May, and we played through November-ish. So yeah, it would be about zone 5. I know they've all shifted and shit like that, but yeah, so I went from zone 5, which was tolerable. Like, it wasn't horrible. I didn't mind winter. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite. But then I just go and really fucking immerse myself in the depths of snow hell or cold hell. Enough of that. So Corey has been sending me videos. Okay, you guys want to? I'll talk about these all at some point, either today or tomorrow. But I got things I could talk about. I could talk about pangolins, not penguins, pangolins, mimosa trees, or flying spiders. Up to you guys. I'll let you guys the first couple answers there in the comments that tell me what you want. You want what's up, Taha Morgan over there? Early on, somebody over on the vertical feed was saying if companies are not loyal to their workers, why should workers be loyal to their company? Loyalty is something. K-Bong says flying spiders. Dixon says spiders. All right, I'll start with spiders. So, a acquaintance on and fellow C4 member on the Facebook posted an article, and I had to click on it and take a look and see what it was all about. But he was saying something about he thinks this is a ploy to get people to stay home for election season or something like that. Let me see what the headline was here. Headline for the article was giant venomous flying spiders with 4-inch legs heading to New York area as they spread across the East Coast, experts say. Let me read that again, guys. Giant venomous flying spiders with 4-inch legs heading to New York area as they spread across the East Coast, experts say. Giant venomous flying spiders with 4-inch legs headed for New York. It's like the apocalypse. So I'm like, all right. He says, okay, I think this is one of those, everybody stay home, don't go out because of the flying venomous spiders, and mail in your vote. He was kind of linking it to the election cycle. And I was just curious. I was curious about the article. So I clicked on it, and here, let me see if I can share that link for anybody that wants to go and end up reading it for themselves. But so what they're talking about is this. Here, let me see if I can share this page. Sorry, guys, I was not prepped to do the spider episode next. Here is the link if anybody wants to check it out later. Please don't check it out during the show. John Palmer says reminds him of murder hornets. Yeah, this is definitely going down the murder hornet line, no doubt. But sorry guys. Here we go. This is definitely going down the murder hornet road. And if you don't like spiders and you're going to get scared, I want you to Chris Stigson says old stories used to start with I shit you not. Now they start with so I clicked on the link. All right, guys, I'm gonna pop this picture up here of the Joro spider. This is the spider weird from Asia, not native to North America, from Asia that was imported or brought here or planted here in northern Georgia, I believe, back in 2010. It is slowly making its way up the East Coast and across the country. And this is what these things look like. If you can see the screen, that's the Joro spider. Nice, bright colored, like neon green and gray and green. John Palmer is not a fan of the Chinese. Pickle P was wondering if Jekyll Island's off the coast of New York, and K-Bonk says it's in Georgia. Oddly enough, where they started these Joro spiders. So what this thing does, it can't really fly. Weird. The spiders can't fly, but the spider does what's called ballooning. Pickle P says venomous flying spiders sound like a lab leak. So what they do is they shoot their silk up into the air, and they can shoot enough web up into the air to support their body weight, and they catch the wind and then drift all over the place. Yeah. So Mike Stormson says, dude's not too worried about the venom. Yeah. So the big headline, and that's the thing that really got me, and that's kind of why I brought it up, because it is bleh. It is what it is with the spider, and do I think it's a scare tactic? Do I think it's a headline grabber? Well, you click on the article and you see them say a peer-reviewed study published last October. So it was reported last October. We're just starting to talk about it now. Weird. Is there anything going on soon that we might want to have people all worried and wound up and spun out about? Maybe trying to keep them inside or something. Published in October by invasive species specialist David Coyle found that the invasive species is here to stay. The arachnids are native to Asia, but were introduced to North Georgia around 2010, the study said, and are continuing to spread. Experts have warned that the spiders could spread to New York since 2022, but none have been detected. That was a bullshit paragraph. They say that they like North America. The whole North America is pretty much their climate zone. It says people have reported seeing the Joro spiders across much of the eastern U.S., including Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Carolina, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Ohio. New York happens to be right in the middle of where they like to be. University of Georgia researcher Andy Davis told the New York Times in December he believes the spiders could pop up across New York and neighboring states this summer, aka any day now. Says they seem to be okay with living in the city, Davis added, saying that he has seen Joro spiders on street lamps and telephone poles where regular spiders wouldn't be caught dead. Now we're worried. We got flying spiders flying all over the wind. We got them flying paragliding. We got, okay, yeah, Mike Sohm says paragliding spiders. Rewilder Life says just like Charlotte. K-Bonk says surfing spiders. Sounds like it's time to load up the bug assault. Pickle P says fiery perimeter needed for to fuck the spiders. Jim says sounds like they're selling pesticides. Oh, they'll need a plan to save the children. And Chris Dixon says flamethrower sales must be low, not anymore. Okay, so let's recap. I still got one little tiny paragraph at the bottom, but we can recap the article. We got these spiders that we're amping everybody up about. They are going to be coming for us in New York. They're going to be flying through the air. They got 4-inch long legs. They're bright and shiny and they're venomous. And what will we do? The last article or the last paragraph says the arachnids are venomous, but Coyle says that they do not pose a danger to humans. That venom, he said, is reserved for critters that get caught up in their webs, including butterflies, wasps, and cockroaches. They could also pose a threat to native spiders. We have no evidence that they've done any damage to a person or a pet. What? Why? What? What? What's the point? What? Like, maybe I could see a public interest story about, hey, there might be these neon glowing spiders with long legs flying through the air, but they're probably not going to hurt you. They can't really do anything to you. They're not going to hurt you or their pets. They're going to spin webs and catch the bugs, just like every other fucking spider. But you don't have to worry about it crawling up on you in the middle of the night and biting you and you dying. But we're going to lead the story. The headline, giant venomous spiders. Oh, wait, giant venomous flying spiders. It's gross. It's gross. Chris Dixon says, cool article, classic fearmonger and retract. Jim says it's FUD. Rewilder Life, fear, panic. Ah. Rewilder Life says, bird flu anyone who has flying spiders on your bingo card for election year. Jesus. John Palmer says you got to get clicks. Jim says Black Widows were what they tried to scare us with back in the day. Black Widows are a thing, though. Brown Widows are even more a thing. But I'm pretty sure Jim mentioning Black Widows, that makes me recall. Do you remember what TV show was it that the Black Widows were the biker gang? There was a old show. It might have been in the 40s, 50s. Jim says every kid I knew looked for the red hourglass, but we never saw them. I've seen several. One in the shower here one day. Like that was been a while. It was last summer. But yeah, they're a real deal. Tech guys, fuel techs, when I was a fuel tech and I was in the Facebook groups and that we would share stuff from all over the country. The spiders really liked the Black Widows, the brown recluse and the brown widows all liked under areas, the below the pump areas in the gas pumps, and you knew that there was no gas leaks if you found spiders. So if you're doing inspections, you open it up and there's a bunch of black widows under there, you don't have a leak because they won't live under there in the fumes. So it's a double-edged sword. You open it up and you find spiders, you got to deal with the spiders, but you don't have a leak to find. You open it up and you don't find spiders and you smell a leak, then you got to find the leak. So, but definitely in this area. Definitely in this area. Jim says more FUD, spiders and snakes get a bad rap. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind snakes. They scare me with the dogs more than anything. Just because they weren't raised around them. They weren't taught about nope ropes. And so I feel like they're going to be curious. That's what I worry about. Now, they do have body mass bigger than Corey, so they probably do all right against a snake bite. So, Pickle P says you got to wear gloves. Got to wear more than gloves. So yeah, the giant flying spiders, no, they don't fly, first of all, and they're venomous, but they're not venomous to us or our pets or anything that a spider shouldn't be venomous against. Like, what is the purpose of a spider other than to put up a web and catch bugs? I don't know. Murder hornets. Yeah, somebody mentioned murder hornets. What are the other extreme animals we've had here that have been a big nothing burger? Oh God, it's getting silly for sure. So real quick before we wrap up, I'll talk about the mimosa tree, and then tomorrow we'll talk pangolins. John said my miniature dachshund got a snake bite once. That's not good. That's not good. How did it fare? Did it do okay? What did it get bit by? There's so many questions. So the mimosa tree, my friend Carrie Brown has been doing an awesome service every day on his Facebook channel. If you Chris Dixon says, can you tap it for mimosas? Brunch will never be the same again. Strong Roots Resources over on Facebook. If you are not following Carrie over on Facebook and you use Facebook, definitely look him up. Look up Carrie Brown. Look up Strong Roots Resources. Follow him. He's doing a daily forage post where he's finding plants on his property, taking pictures, talking about them, telling you about them, sharing them, and then discussing them in the comments. And I'm finding it very, very, very valuable as I'm trying to learn the trees and the flora and the fauna in this area. And a couple days ago, it must have been like 2 days ago, I noticed these flowers on this tree. They were really cool looking. They're like a little stem and then these pink and white puffy flowers. But they were all like little stems. It wasn't like a flower. It was like a little, almost like a dandelion when it goes to seed. But they were pink and white and not exactly like a dandelion going to seed. That was not even close to the right description. I'll have to bring up a picture tomorrow. I don't have to dig in. Maybe I'll put it in the Telegram group at t.me/lotschat if you want to check it out. But anyway, I was noticing these flowers, and there's a tree out behind our camper. There's one over to the side. There's one down the road, and I was like, those are really cool. I wonder what they are. And so I hadn't had a chance to look it up. Carrie posted yesterday a picture of some leaves on a tree, and he said, right now is a great time to go identify mimosa trees, and because in the next week or so the flowers will pop, and they're great for foraging and drying for teas, for natural mood enhancement, insomnia relief, sedative, basically a natural sedative. And so I looked at Mike's non-native nitrogen fixer. Yeah. Again from Asia. Weird. Again from Asia. And it sounds like they're great for the flowers, but the plant itself is just horse shit. They only live for 30 years. They grow proficiently, like 3 foot a year, but they're super brittle. They break in storms. They fall down all the time. The wood isn't good for much. You can harvest the bark, the flowers, and some other things to make medicinals out of. I did find out that dried mimosa flowers sell for about $20 an ounce dried. Uh, who'd have known? Who'd have known? Um, but Carrie posted the pictures of these leaves on this tree, and I was like, "Oh, that looks a little bit like the leaves in this tree I'm trying to figure out." Coincidentally, the day before or 2 days before, and I said, "Hey, Carrie, do they make these little pink and white pom pom things?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that would be it. They're sticky." So then I walk outside and I'm like looking around, and so we have several around here, but they're all up in the canopies. And I'm contemplating trying to grab my ladder. I have to take the shower down in order to do this, but grab the ladder and go and get up in these trees and start picking these flowers and harvest a shitload of these and dry them. But I can't reach any of them. I walked around. I looked at all the mimosa trees that within where we walk for our daily walks and around where we're staying here, and I just can't reach any of them. So I'm interested. I'm interested for sure. But this is another Asian. Basically, they said it's an invasive species if not controlled. It was brought here as an ornamental. Landscapers brought it, just like buckthorn. Not the buckthorn that Rewilder Life likes up on her property. The buckthorn that I had in Minnesota that nothing eats, it never dies, and it has big thorns and it sucks to deal with. You need to burn it to the root to get rid of it, and it spreads like wildfire through your woods. That buckthorn. The mimosa trees they're pretty. They are pretty cool to look at. I have to admit that. I can see why landscapers would choose to use them. They do grow fast. They do have really cool flowers, and the seed pods in the fall are pretty cool looking. They're a mess though. The flowers are a mess. The seed pods are a mess, and like I said, they're kind of invasive. If not taken under control because they grow so fast. I mean, that's just natural. And they drop these seed pods, and they're very prolific at propagating themselves. So, mimosa tree, I don't know. They say they thrive in zone 6, 7, and above, down through Texas, and yeah, if they're here. If they're here now, if I can find them out at Delinquent's Gully, which I have to assume, I shouldn't assume that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If I could find them out there, it would be really an interesting experiment to grab some seed pods. I might grab some seed pods when these drop. Jim says, aren't they short-lived succession species? 30 years. 30 years. They grow tall and big canopy, and so they probably give shade and cover for understory. The only problem is the double-edged sword. Like I said, they're very weak. The wood isn't very stable, and high winds will take branches off no problem. But I'm curious if I can do some sort of if I can plant them and keep them controlled and coppice them or prune them to a place where I can make them into lateral, horizontal bushes to harvest the flowers better. Chris Dixon says, I wonder if you could keep them short for stability and easy harvesting. Here, let me change my name on YouTube over to Chris Dixon and ask myself a question. Mike's Homestead says, I don't have any on my 100 acres, but there are 2 at the end of my easement. Heard they'll grow fairly well from cuttings, but haven't tried it yet. That's what I was seeing. I was seeing that, man, you can mow them to the ground and they'll come right back. And they're very hardy once they drop roots. They say if you're trying to remove them, definitely remove them before they drop their seed pods, because the seed pods will send up shoots, no problem. And you will also resprout. It will resprout the trunks. So I have to assume if you cut it off at the base of the trunk and it grows back without salting the stump or something like that, that Chris Dixon and I's idea of keeping them short and training them out like a hedge. Mike Somson says they're not very tall, 30-foot max, I would guess. Yeah, that's what they are, but I don't want to crawl up into the 30. But all the flowers are in the canopy, and the canopy is like 20 feet tall. So I would rather not climb up in a very, that's like climbing up a birch tree and hoping you don't tip over in a swamp with no stable soil. It's just not a good idea. So I'm hoping to keep them maybe 8 foot tall, so I can walk along and harvest almost like a bush, harvest those flowers when time comes. Just something to think about. Throw some seed pods in. Throw some seed pods when they come around, and figure out how to take the ride. Good morning. Thanks for stopping again. We says we have some. They are super prolific, great nitrogen fixer, chop and drop compost. Nice. Chris Dixon says it's easier to harvest an 8-foot apple tree than a 20-foot tree. Very, very true. Very true. I think this would have to be a production thing for me. I would probably be looking into bark. I wonder, with them growing 3 foot a year, I think it was 3 foot. I'll have to go back and make sure it wasn't 3 meters, 3 feet, like what the article was written in, Canadian or the United States. But I wonder in like a 2-year cycle, if you could coppice the second year ones, get them big enough so they're or maybe 3. I don't know what the cycle would be, but harvesting the bark when you trim them, pollard them, I guess. Yeah. I don't know how established they need to be to set flowers. So if you took them off to the ground or took them off at whatever height you wanted, if a year cycle would be able to get the flowers back in the next year, and how much they would produce. But maybe a 2-year cycle, and then harvest the flowers and then the bark when you cut it down. Because then you have all that, like Take the Ride said, you have all that nitrogen fixer, cheap chop and drop compost stuff. Time to go in the idea book for sure. Time to go in the idea book. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up today. Tomorrow I'll talk pangolins, and God knows what else. All sorts of stuff. Corey's going to start sending me, probably keep sending me random exotic animals to talk about and look up, because she knows that they intrigue me. And as soon as she sent me the pangolin video, I went down a little bit of rabbit hole looking at them. So that'll be interesting. That'll be fun to talk about tomorrow. But other than that, we're going to wrap it up today. I appreciate everybody listening. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like, share, and subscribe. To return value for value, please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. You can visit thelotsproject.com or comfreyroots.com, which we got a big sale going on right now. Comfreyroots.com. Share the love, all one word. Will get you a 2-pack instead of a 1-pack, so you can hand them out to a friend, enemy, frenemy, new acquaintance, homestead partner, or keep them for yourself. That's all up to you, what you want to do with it. share the love at comfreeroots.com, coupon code at checkout. Yeah, check out Tiny Armored Ones over on YouTube. I will, thanks to K-Bonk, I will get the show notes edited up, and going forward, it will be the right link. Guys, it's hump day. It's Wednesday. I got a rainy day to sit here and do videos. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you listening too. Yeah, I misspoke there. Jim says hit that like on the way out. I appreciate that. Jim, thanks for hanging out over on Noster by yourself and that Zap. That's great. If you guys want to watch on Noster, I can help you out with that. Let me know. Other than that, let's wrap it up. Head on over to check out Food Forest Farms YouTube page, Sensei Scrambling with Wake Up Seattle. Have a great day, guys, and we'll catch you tomorrow.